Okay. Let me mute us. All right. Hi, everybody. So if you have anything that you'd like us to focus on or any questions about any aspect of meditation or spiritual life or anything at all, feel free to put them in the comments. And otherwise, let's just show up. Here we are in a room. Let your senses take in the room. That part of your senses that are busy carrying stories from earlier in your day. Transfer that awareness to where you are now. And slow things down to the speed of this moment. It's a shift into patience. After pushing and pulling and racing, it's a shift into patience. Patience is an aspect of acceptance. It's a letting go of time. Time is so woven into the story of our lives that it's a thread that if you just let go of that one thread, the whole thing drops. Pull that one thread out and the whole thing falls apart. And you're left with the whole universe that's been here all along, but you couldn't fully appreciate it because you were so busy looking at the fabric. So slow yourself down. Don't care how long anything lasts.
Liam, I did put a question into the chat.
Ah, thank you. Okay. Okay. So Chelsea's asking, when people say something is meant to be, is that a real thing? We will definitely work that in tonight. I want us to all kind of get into a headspace where we can really hear it. So let yourself be in this moment. Attention at the forehead and crown. But if you're really focused in this moment, there will already be an attention there. My husband is making a lot of noise. Let me just send him a little message. So when you're in this space, you can hear the ringing of the silence, even when people are making noise. Can you listen for that? It's the sound that all those ringing bowls are trying to reproduce. And it's here whenever you're balanced. You can make a whole meditation of just listening to it. And as you do, it opens up to you. It carries the beginning, middle, and end of everything on this planet. Every aspect of you, every blade of grass. It carries the truth in a wordless form. It provides you with direct knowing, realizations, but it's only available to you when you stop pushing and pulling. To hear it, You have to master the ability to be both relaxed and on the edge of your seat. Not literally. But relaxed and focused, poised and flexible. But making your home there so that you can relax in a state of poise. That delicate balance is the meditative state. And in that place, you can hear the voice of the silence. Whenever I sit down to teach, it gets louder. And the words that I speak are part of its flow. It's not handing me words, but it directs the moment, and the words become a natural remark of the moment. So rather than trying to imagine what each of you needs to hear, because you're a part of this too, what you need to hear just comes forward. We're all part of the same moment. At the heart of that moment is silence, reality, enlivened stillness. And that stillness is a consciousness, a source consciousness that we're all a part of. See if you can hear it. You can even feel it on your skin. A steady warmth, a vibration. You can even see it as a light. that kind of descends upon you and fills the room. Nothing to visualize. Just notice. This is an exercise of not doing. To hear this sound, you have to finally be quiet. Quiet in your mind, quiet in your heart. Quiet in your rushings, in your pushings and pullings. The more you do that, the stronger it gets. And as it enlivens your body, stuck areas that were keeping you from being able to go deeper flash on the screen of the mind so that you can let them go. Now, when you can step into this place, you'll find that things come together differently. There's a smoothness to how things go down. I don't mean that every story in your life will be perfect. But in the moment, because to be here, you have to stop projecting all of the messy parts of you. And just be with this moment. Then the things that happen fit in this moment in a harmonious way. There will be cycles that you set in motion in other moments that will still create noise and problems. But you will be hooked in to this moment. You'll find it makes your timing better. You'll have a natural sense of when the right moment to act is, when the right moment to speak is, how to relate to the world around you. some people just never even learn social referencing skills. They don't know enough about the environment they're in to even notice that they're behaving in a way that is out of sync with what anybody else in the environment would be doing. But it's because they're so attentive to their own storyline and its feelings and its ups and downs. When you shift into this space and you're listening, you can actually feel the moment around you deeply. You can see, you can feel, you can hear. And that point of contact, it's connected to everything else. When I used to do massage therapy, I could put my hand anywhere on someone's body and I could feel what was happening in different areas of their body. Some of that was psychic communication, but a lot of it was just being very attentive to how you pull the connective tissue, what that feels like. Because that connective tissue at the top of your head has pathways all the way down to the bottoms of your feet. And so if you pull just a little bit, you can feel the lines of stress, as subtle as they are, as intricate as they are. And so you become more effective. Everything falls in its proper place. I could be trying to release something on one part of the body, and the connective tissue will basically tell me that it won't release that until I've released something else. So you go down and you release it, and then you come back up and suddenly what you were originally working on can let go. All of life can be like that. You can keep your hand on the pulse of it. The world around you is mostly not doing that. So you won't always have amazing materials to work with. But you yourself, at any moment in your day, can stop, show up for this moment, and start getting a really clear sense of what you're dealing with. So Chelsea's asking, when people say something is meant to be, is that a real thing? It depends. I don't think it's meant to be in terms of being predestined. But when you are in the flow of this moment, your actions and reflections on the screen of life pull things forward that are in sync with who you are at the deepest core of yourself. Your life. When you're in that space, the energy flowing through those stuck spots create vibrations that pull the very experiences you need in order to grow. So in that sense, meant to be is a real thing. In the sense that life is always just reflecting yourself back to you so that you can see it. Meant to be is a real thing. But I think most people, when they say meant to be, are using it to try and get some relief. You know, we all just want to be done. You know, if you lived here, you'd be home by now, kind of thing. The truth is, wherever you are, whatever you've created, whether you created it out of sleepy, blind chaos or willpower-driven pushing and pulling, or divine providence, wherever you are carries the seed of everything you need to learn. However it came together, all the things that you're still wishing for, fearing, pushing towards, pulling away from, all those things will manifest on the screen of life. If you're doing it chaotically, it'll manifest as chaos. And it's meant to be, because you'll have to get sick of that chaos. And when you do, you will have learned what you needed to learn from that. I wouldn't use something like meant to be as an excuse not to build your life, not to make necessary changes. Though I also wouldn't run around changing everything willy-nilly. You know, someone could look at my life and say, well, you've lived so many different lives. I mean, you change things all the time. But if you really sat down and watched, you would notice those were all 10-year segments. You know, you have to find that balance between jumping up and running and being so committed to staying that you'll stay even if it's no longer in sync with your truest self. So meant to be can't be a static thing. But the deepest thing I can give you is what I've already given you, which is everything you have right now is a reflection of your own divine curriculum, that perfect set of challenges, pains, sorrows, losses, wins that you need in order to free yourself from the limitations in your story. And the fact that you learn how to meditate means you can actually step out of all of it to fill yourself back up with energy, so that when you step back into the story, you're more wakeful and you can learn your lessons faster. when that starts to occur for somebody, it's a huge step forward in their ability to evolve, the rate at which they can evolve. But it doesn't come from rejecting this moment. You have to start right where you are in full acceptance. And where you are is fine. It really is okay. Even if it's dire, it really is okay. If you can really show up for it and act from that space, everything will fall in place in the way that it needs to. And sometimes what needs to happen is you need this life to end. So even your worst case scenarios are fine. There's nothing you ever have to be afraid of. You just have to be aware. You don't have to project positivity. Be aware of what is, and you will feel positive as what is finds its context in the big picture of this moment. The only people who need positive thinking are the people who aren't really in this moment. They're still pushing away parts of this moment. They haven't integrated it through their awareness. And you guys come here once a week. Don't you notice that you just shift, and for a period of time everything is fine? That's the road to what you want. Most people find the more time they spend there, the more they just always sort of have what they need. In my earlier years, I tested it a lot. Purposefully let myself run out of gas in the middle of nowhere, just to see what would happen. I leave my car keys at a campsite. And have to find my way home still. And the more you can stay in this space, what you find is it all gets taken care of. Humans don't realize it's been getting taken care of their entire lives. I mean, you've made it this far, exposed to all kinds of things, in a world where all kinds of people exist. Your body and your mind have always been gently pushing you back to balance. Every night, even if you're crazy all day long, you sleep. Life forces that meditation upon you. And it all comes back to a balanced state. So meant to be is about being in sync with the moment. It's not about happily ever after. Those are all just stories. It comes when your prerequisites for happiness drop to zero. When you've dropped your demands on the moment. In that moment, when you really do that, the whole world lights up. And everything you ever thought you wanted, which was really just a feeling you were going for, suddenly that feeling is present. Everything is resolved. Always such a relief to teach this class. My days are busy. In the story of the day, you pretty much don't want one more thing to do. But then you sit down, you step out of the story, and suddenly everything is fine. More than fine. Charged. Filled. Clear and completed. Which is everything you were trying to accomplish with the story. But you never get there. Let's step back into the ringing of the silence. How much of yourself can you give? Can you be quiet so it can be loud? Can you be still so it can move? Can you feel how it magnifies it? Listen. Listen with your ears. Listen with your skin. Listen with your heart. It begins as an intelligent, resonant piece. It is the true teacher. In any religion. And I may be the one directing you there, but it's as much yours as it is mine. You don't need a gatekeeper. You just need to listen. Working in this way is one of the greatest services you can give. Because when you magnify that energy in yourself, you magnify it in everyone. Starting most strongly with the people who are connected to you, as well as the people in this room. When you do right by your spiritual trek, it becomes easier for us to do right by ours. And I don't mean that as some kind of theoretical construct. When I'm sitting here and you suddenly start really giving yourself to it, I watch it all get magnified. I can feel it and see it. I've been on spiritual paths where you wake up in the morning and you know something profound has happened, and it's because one of the people on the path with you took a major step forward. And so we all took this step forward. This week, give of yourself in this way. Invoke that peace by listening. Your day will be whatever your day will be. But don't go to bed at night without having gotten to that place at least once. Nothing in life makes it easy. That's why it's so important for people like you to practice it. Because in doing so, you can make it easier. Most of the things we try to do in service is like pouring a cap full of bleach into a filthy pond. But this puts something really special in the world. I mean, if it didn't, you wouldn't come here. But it's not mine, it's ours. It's yours. This week, don't let a day go by where you don't get there. It slips away so easily, you have to really commit. Are there any questions before we end? Okay, guys. I'll be here next Thursday. And have a good week.
Hey, Liam.
Thanks, Liam.
You bet.